Hi everyone, welcome to this webinar on building a better future for small and medium businesses. Today, we will start with an introduction of Pitney Bowes, our small and medium business clients, our ecosystem of apps and technology. Then we'll have a session on Freshworks, their product APIs, SDK and marketplace. Finally, we'll spend some time on details of our upcoming global SMB hackathon and then a 10-minute session for Q&A. So for this webinar, I would like to introduce the speakers now. So we have Shashidhar Akiraju from Pitney Bowes, who's a senior director for SMB apps, and we have Ganesh Balaji, who's a program manager at Freshworks Marketplace. Over to you, Shashi.
All right, can you guys see my screen? Okay, perfect. So let me take you guys through a quick journey of Pitney Bowes. We're a 100-year-old global technology company enabling e-commerce. The three primary areas that we provide solutions and capabilities are customer information management, location intelligence, and our core business, which is shipping and mailing. We do have newer areas where we are starting to make a big dent, especially in the customer engagement and the global e-commerce space. From a customer point of view, we work very closely with almost 90% of Fortune 500 companies. And again, going back to the core business, we work with close to 750K, small and medium businesses, primarily in the US, but we do have global presence. That's what Pitney Bowes is all about. It's a quick overview. What I did want to spend some time on is really walk through who our customers are, and especially as we talk about this hackathon that's coming up. One, I'm really happy to see so many of you participate and register for it. And what I wanted to spend some time on is really give an overview of what our customers do look like. So here's a snapshot. Our SMB customers, from a profile point of view, fall across various different business verticals. So it's a fairly large spread, and especially as it tends to be with small and medium business customers, they're fairly fragmented. The common goal across all of our small and medium businesses, though, from a solution point of view, is still in enabling, faster, better, more money saving type of capabilities, and we'll talk a little more about that in a few slides from now. So business verticals, the big ones to keep in mind are legal services, healthcare professionals, insurance professionals, a few institutions from a banking and finance, as well as universities. And then we have, a very interesting and large growth segment, as we see in small retailers who could be e-tailers as well as general retailers with storefronts. We do also have a significant population of service providers. The one that's listed here is real estate agents, who we have a large population of. When we talk about small and medium businesses, a few things to keep in mind. These are businesses who tend to have employees about 10 to 100. So these are not home operations necessarily, but organized businesses with an employee base and trying to drive revenues that are usually what we've seen upwards of $500,000 per year. So and of course that's the base, but it does extend into 10+ million revenue per year as well. Coming to a persona point of view, we do have, the primary users within these businesses tend to be, owners themselves who wear multiple hats as they utilize technology to improve their business outcomes, as well as operation managers and office managers. from a core mailing and shipping workflow, which is what our primary use case is, that we drive office managers to play a large role, as do operation managers, in making sure the communication and marketing related mail and shipments do go out on time. So that's the broad overview. Let me switch over to some examples, and I think this is where it starts to play out. So the examples that I wanted to give, I have a few here, and I'll run through these really quickly. But what I wanted to make sure is they give you a flavor of the type of people and business problems we are solving for. So here's Mike, a small business owner. He runs a retail store, which has both a physical and retail brick and mortar presence, so physical presence. And the types of problems he has to deal with are, how do I get discovered, right? How do I grow more customers? How do I grow my business in both the areas that they operate on, so online as well as offline? Some of the other problems are reducing complexity from playing in multiple e-commerce marketplaces. And I think this is a large growing segment as we think of manufacturers, distributors who've historically had one single channel to present their goods to customers and going into multiple online marketplaces. So they tend to usually have their own website where you can order their goods from. They tend to have a store on Amazon or other marketplaces like Amazon, be it eBay. They usually tend to, for especially the SMB businesses that are sort of design craft specific, tend to have their businesses listed in places like Etsy as well. So you have a small business whose core proposition is making stuff, but they now have to manage the complexity of having to sell their goods across different marketplaces, and that's really the problem that we are trying to address here. And this could come from order management, inventory management, funneling all of that complexity into simple business rules-based outcomes. The third sort of problem statement that I do want to talk about is, especially when it comes to shipping, people do tend to need technology to help them manage costs as well as returns. So what is the freight charges that I want to provide? What is the shipping cost, depending on where the customer is? How quickly do I want to deliver? And in scenarios where there are returns involved, how to make sure it's seamless from an end customer experience point of view. So the verticals you want to think of within this are fashion boutiques. I mentioned this, so more creative ones, as well as traders who are small sized. These tend to be manufacturing houses. Think of leather jacket manufacturers, think of medical equipment manufacturers, but they all tend to have their own warehouse where they build, and they want to be able to share across the board. The next example that I wanted to give was a professional services firm. And professional services, while fairly broad, the way I define them are a specific niche, specialized set of services that they provide across different industries. So legal firms, lawyers, and setups that involve more than one are a good example. So are accounting firms. The other large segment, as an example, that's listed here, makes complete sense, is consulting firm. So any specific specialized activity that you want to run, you can get those capabilities provided through these services. And the types of problems do tend to be productivity centric. So if you look at some of the problem statements that are listed here, they're very much in the operationalizing various activities. So the examples here are appointment management, scheduling, how to automate payments. the ability to better understand their existing customers, and being able to do better, more targeted marketing, especially given they're a niche business, tend to be problems that they need help with. Uh, Given the amount of paperwork that's usually involved in the services firm, especially when it comes to accounting and legal firms, some of the other capabilities that we've heard our customers tell us are around managing documents, being able to interpret documents. So capabilities that as developers you are all aware of, on being able to use uh, scanning technologies, understanding text, image to text, being able to parse all of that information, using NLP like methods, are all sort of useful technologies to think of when it comes to document management. I have one more here. We have, manufacturers tend to be a big group of our customers. So think of Jacqueline here as someone who manages their own business, and these tend to be businesses that have been in long standing. So they've had, they have something very specific that they manufacture. It's usually in high volume. The example in the background here, you see are various colored threads that are used as raw materials uh, 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 for apparel. And I think that that's a good example to think about as you think of the types of problems they face. A large part of that is going to be distributor management, management of their raw materials providers. So how do I manage my relationships? So what's a good tool for me to be able to automate some of those types of problems? Um, Given the high volume shipping use case here, they tend to be extremely cost conscious as well. So being able to provide capabilities to reduce costs when shipping high volume and large boxes of these at regular schedules is also going to be very important. And overall, again, as they run their business, this is probably common across all of the businesses, is how do I understand better to drive productivity across my business, across various operations, that can help me focus on building my business or doing my business better. I do have one more, and again, just going back to the large buckets of customers that we today have, healthcare professionals do definitely stand out. These are offices that tend to be again in the same bracket of 10 employees to 100 employees, but they end up managing clinics, or small hospitals even. Dentist office is a good one, a specialist one at it. That needs to cater to customers, provide a specific types of healthcare service, and the types of technology they tend to look for are around patient management. Again, customers, but very specific, billing type activities that can integrate into their existing systems. With healthcare, as as it's one of the areas with high privacy concerns, you definitely want to provide capabilities, or they do see capabilities that are primarily around securing their documents and all of the paperwork that's available, both digitizing as well as keeping it secure. And then a couple of other examples are around scheduling. So you want to think of healthcare professionals needing customers to be updated on when their medication needs to be taken, capabilities that essentially drive scheduling for regular visits and updates, as well as thinking of how best to understand and use my local taxation. So those are the examples. And again, I hope they were useful to think of when you think of who our customers are, that you're going to be building some of these capabilities going into the hackathon next week. I do want to spend just a couple more minutes in talking about the platform on which some of the capabilities that you build will be accessible to the customer segments we just spoke about. So we talked about themes in terms of the problem statements small and medium businesses do tend to need support and handholding in. From a big picture point of view, we do want to provide all of those technologies and solve for those business outcomes for our SMB customers. And the way we've gone about sort of building this ecosystem is to enlist help from existing developer ecosystems such as yourselves, and really providing them the core capabilities that help you take your idea, your solution to existing customers in a real world scenario to validate the business that it can drive. We do also provide incubation capabilities and services to really take your idea, your app, and monetize it with us. A couple of things to keep in mind. So we do have we do have a set of APIs that I'll talk about in a little more depth coming up. But the apps that you will be building, can essentially be both for a tablet screen, which is our primary device on which we engage our customers, as well as for the web. So that's something that I want you guys to keep in mind. And we work with a suite of partners, such as Freshdesk, who will be talking post this and providing sort of visibility into the capabilities you could use today in solving for these business outcomes. So with that, I will jump into sort of showcasing what we've already been able to do. And here's a quick snapshot of some of the apps that already exist. So you'll get to see both the form factor on which these apps exist, as well as some ideas that we've previously had and worked with developers to make them come alive on this channel. So I'm going to play a quick video now.
The Pitney Bowes Send Pro C Series all-in-one technology for mailing and shipping. Smart, simple, accurate. We are building an ecosystem of intelligent applications for our C-Series device to assist small and medium business customers in their end-to-end shipping, mailing, and addressing needs. These applications will be available on our Pitney Bowes App Store. Let's take a look at a few of these applications. Informed delivery for businesses. The United States Postal Service is doing something new and digital with the mail. For the first time, small businesses to preview the exterior address side of letter-sized mail and track packages at one convenient location. Business owners can now track incoming packages and payments. Say, for example, if you're an insurance agent, your business requires you to deliver mails on specific dates. ShipMinders will save time and money by using your calendar to create a daily shipping list for you. It recommends the optimized shipping method to save your shipping costs. Click once to integrate it with your Google Calendar. Get recommendations and print shipping labels from Calendar of Events. On the other hand, if you're a retailer, you know how difficult it is to grapple with issues like returns and inability to update customers about their order status. Now, with Shipping Companion, you can take such worries in your stride. This app helps retailers, wholesalers, and e-commerce firms at every stage of their shipping cycle by tracking all your shipments at one place in real time. Same-day delivery app enables simplified on-demand deliveries for SMBs on your Send Pro C-Series device. Same-day deliveries are as simple as sign up, enter destination details, and choose a suitable delivery option from a suite of multiple peer-to-peer shipping services. The app also allows you to track your package to your final destination. For small businesses, the Freshdesk companion app integrates your Freshdesk customer support right into your C-Series device, thereby allowing you to service customers faster. With this app, you can now view and update customer support tickets directly from the C-Series console, improving support productivity. The app automatically creates tickets for Send Pro shipping alerts, so you can proactively communicate with your customers. As an e-commerce merchant, you sell your products on websites and marketplaces. Ordoro lets you consolidate your orders from all platforms and manage them in a single view. With just one click, download your orders and print shipping labels directly from your C-Series device. Pitney Bowes is bringing together an ecosystem of developers, startups, and enterprises to create digital-first solutions for SMBs. The Pitney Bowes platform, perfected over decades, is now open to bring the best of innovation to our SMB customers.
So with that, let me jump into a topic that's close to my heart in providing platform capabilities from Pitney Bowes that can help accelerate some of the solutions that you will be developing for our customers. So the three broad areas within which you can consume APIs from Pitney Bowes, these are capabilities, are around identity, location, and shipments. So identity essentially provides capabilities or a set of APIs that help you understand the context of the user. This is information that can help you do deduping better, to really understand the address of the customer better, and really be able to provide a layer of understanding, be it demographics or geodemographics, of who those customers are. The only other aspect that I will mention here is identity does allow for validating some of those customers, but also in sort of driving sort of filtration process, if you may, and being able to understand entities as you think of customers and the various metadata that is available to them. So a customer could be a owner of a business. You might be able to, in some scenarios in the US, get access to information about the business as addresses or phone numbers or other information that you can use for correspondence. Locate is the other set of APIs that Pitney Bowes provides. These are some of our most comprehensive APIs sets. And they provide everything, as you'd imagine, around location. So imagine the input for all of these capabilities is an address or a location, in the form of a latitude, longitude, and you're able to get a whole lot of information about that place as it relates to the businesses around it, as it relates to the type of census information, demographic information that is available at that location, as well as information that's available around those locations. So think of being able to find the closest police station or a fire station, or being able to understand just the topography and density of other businesses who might be your competitors in that location. So are all the types of capabilities that are available in Locate. From a shipping point of view, again, an area that is very close to us. We provide full-featured shipping capabilities that let you, from your home, build capabilities to print shipping labels across various carriers. So you want to think of USPS or FedEx or DHL or UPS as the different carriers that are available, but using APIs to really connect with those services, get codes, and be able to generate shipping labels that can then be used to ship your packages out to your customers. These two, of course, also allow all of these APIs for usage-based billing, as APIs would provide. And within this hackathon, we'll be providing credits that allow you to explore these APIs better, to use them within your apps as you go about building them. So that's all I had on the APIs, and I do want to hand over the next section of what we're doing here for the Freshworks team to essentially talk about their APIs and SDK capabilities. So over to you, GB.
Okay. I'm really sorry. I think I was on mute. So I'll just start over. Thank you, Shashi, for,
Sure.
yeah, I'm just making sure I'm audible myself. Uh, yeah, so Shashi, thank you for walking through on Pitney Bowes and the capabilities and the applications that people can build, right? So the next 15-20 minutes, I'm going to concentrate on Freshdesk, the cloud-based support software, right? So on the use cases that our customers solve, and also few applications and ideas that you can build around Freshdesk, right? So to start with, Freshdesk is a cloud-based support software. When I say cloud-based, you don't have to install anything, you do not have to download anything, right? It's all in the cloud. So typically, businesses use for monitoring their customer requests, prioritizing them and tracking them, either if they come in through email, through phone calls, through social media, even through post, right? So all these different customer requests are gathered in our software, and people can track, uh, categorize, and prioritize them, right? So let me just quickly go to the next slide here, right? So today, businesses of all size, we always we frequently reach out to our customer support teams, right? So either it could be our phone providers, whether it could be our shipping companies, our e-commerce companies. We have bought something and we want to know where the order is, or we want to know the status of a particular question, right? So we have, at some point of time, we'd have always reach out to a customer support team, right? So these customer support teams typically either use an inbox or a software like Freshdesk, right? So small companies use inbox, where they can just, you write to an inbox and people reply from email inboxes, right? But Freshdesk, as you scale up, as you have more number of customer requests, typically that will not be scalable, right? So that's why softwares like Freshdesk help companies prioritizing these requests, right? So setting up Freshdesk is very easy. So you just have to connect your emails, your phone calls, your phone numbers, and your social media channels. Once you do that, you'll have all your customer requests coming into Freshdesk. Right. So it's a multi-channel support system. When I say multi-channel, you have customers requesting through emails, through phone calls, through chat, through social media like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagrams and other things in the world. Right. So all these different medium, all these different requests can be handled by one single product, that is Freshdesk. So I'm not going to go through a lot of these slides. So since it's software product, I think it's better if I show you the product hands-on. So I'm going to switch screens. Uh, so right now you have my Freshdesk account, right? So what you see here is the Freshdesk portal. So each and every company who use Freshdesk will have this portal, which is basically a dashboard where the total number of requests are listed, right? So let's say I am the another customer support representative, right? Every day morning I come in, I open this dashboard, right? So first thing I see is the total number of requests that I have, right? So these requests are tickets, that our customers, that my customers have raised, right? Either through emails, through phone calls, or whatever the medium that I discussed, right? So any typical morning, I'm just going to go to my unresolved tickets. I'm going to use a lot of these jargons. So tickets are basically customer requests, and then I'm going to use a term called agent. Agent are the customer support representatives or operators, whatever you call them, right? And you have admins who are basically like managers and supervisors in Freshdesk, right? So once I go into the unresolved view, it's typically like an email inbox, right? You have all your customer requests either through email, through phone calls, whatever, everything listed here, right? It looks similarly just like my email inbox, right? I'll have who sent it, but then I have other options like, what is the status on this, right? And who's working on it? Is there an agent assigned on it, right? Again, agent here is a customer support representative who's working on it, right? So there are a lot of these different requests. There are 85 of them, right? But then what I have to concentrate are the tickets that are assigned to me or that are unassigned, right? So tickets, again, here are the customer requests. So I'm just going to open any, a particular customer request, and I'm going to show you how it looks like. All right. So we have a request from Donald, right? So he has questions on his orders, and and obviously it doesn't look like a happy customer, right? So when I open this ticket, what all information do I have, right? So I have the request from the customer, right? And towards my right, I have something called the ticket properties, right? So these ticket properties are basically attributes of the ticket, right? So things like what is the status on the ticket, right? Whether it's open, whether it's with the customer, whether it's waiting on my third party, whether it's closed, right? It typically tells you the state of the particular question. And then you have a lot of different things which adds more value to the ticket. For example, what type of question is this, right? What are they asking about? Who's the agent working on it? What is the product, right? Things like that, right? But typically these are things which just add more value on the ticket. But then what will help me is if I have more information about the customer, right? But these information are not readily available, right? So here's where the apps, the integrations, other things comes into play, right? So the customer here probably I have all this information stored in a CRM. So I can, or if it's an order management system, something like Shopify, something like Magento, right? So I can easily build an app. I'm going to show you a demo app, right? So this is one particular app, the Shopify app, which all these apps are typically placed on the right hand side. So you'll have widgets like structures where you can customize the view, you can embed iframes, you can call your third party systems, and build your integrations, right? So what I've done is based on the email address of the customer here, have pulled in information from third party systems, right? So here, for example, it's about Shopify, right? So what are the different orders that we have, what that this customer has, right? Because he's talking about some order, but he hasn't given me order number, when he has ordered, his card number or whatever, right? So all these are typically available in my order management system. So I can just integrate that and I can find what are the open orders, right? So I see that he has some t-shirts, he has a few completed orders. So I obviously know he's asking about this particular order, right? So now I can just click open on this, look into my order management system, and probably, say, for example, update when the delivery date is going to be, or where exactly is it? Is it out for delivery? Is it in the with the shipping company? Is it still being packed? Right. So all these different details can be pulled in. Right. So this is one type of integration that you can think about. Right. Talking to different third-party systems and augmenting the agent here, augmenting the customer support representative. Right. And talking about Pitney Bowes again, so for example, if the customer's order is yet to be shipped, right? If you want to print a return label, or if you want to print some, if you want to do some shipping with them, right? So you can call your, the shipping APIs and other things to probably print a return label and things like that, right? So you can get that done with it, right? So these things are part of the Freshdesk app, right? So whenever you build an app, you can package it with all these different features, right? And deliver individually to the customers, right? So that's more about the customer here. In terms of the product, again, coming back to the product, I can reply to the customer, tell them, hey, after I have information from the particular system, I can just say, hey, this is your order. Hope you're talking about this, and here is where it is. And you can expect the delivery in the next 30 minutes, right? So something like that, right? And once you're done, you can change the statuses, right? Or you can go back to the order management system and perform an update. If the customer is very irritated and annoyed, probably he wants to cancel the order. So you can again have a button to cancel the order from here, right? So a lot of these different things can be done with a Freshdesk product system, right? So this is more on the product. So it's basically a glorified email inbox where you have requests from the customers and you reply to them from Freshdesk. And within Freshdesk, you'll be able to pull in information from other third-party systems. You can either perform get information, or you can push information from Freshdesk to other systems, right? Going back to the slide now. Right. So these are a few apps that are built by other developers, like the one that I showed, right? So to view customers' order information right inside Freshdesk is what we saw, uh, and probably connecting with Shopify, Magento, other things, right? And something cool that you can try to build is a few examples and ideas. So, for example, whenever a ticket comes in, based on the location of the customer, routing to the right service agent, right? So, for example, if we have different warehouses around the country, so if a customer comes in from Mumbai, you can have agents in Mumbai work on it, right? So things like that, or you can do something like a shipping calculator where the agent can just calculate based on the address of the customer. They can calculate how much it is going to ship a particular order, or something like an address verification, right? So if the pin codes match, if an ID matches, and things like that, right? Or also have a live tracker, inside the ticket, right? So you can have a Google Maps integration wherein you can track. You can just involve iframes and things like that, right? For the Freshdesk apps, so you can call in Google IPS and things like that to track the live status. If each and every delivery person is going to have a mobile app, then you can just use that to calculate the live location of a particular customer, a particular order. Right. So these are a few of the ideas that you can look at. So there are a lot of material available around all these, right? So you have a detailed Freshdesk developer documentation. So all these information will be shared with you. Right? We have a complete developer portal, and we have documentation on how you build apps. There are sample apps that you can look at. Right? And obviously, we have a 24/7 support channel. You can anyway raise to us, and we'll be able to help you with any developer questions that you have. Okay. So yeah, so that's about the Freshdesk product platform. I'm just going to play a small video. I hope this plays. Okay, I think all videos are jinxed today. So anyway, so there are videos that we will send, on how to build apps and other things. Right. So so over to Pitney Bowes team. So the stage will be open for any questions later. So please note down any questions. Any questions that you have on Freshdesk, on the product, on the API, you can shoot it out across us. Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back. Thanks so much, GB, for providing that overview. The real power of the platform is in the APIs. So I do urge all of you guys to go check out the developer portal that GB just talked about, and play around with the capabilities that do exist, and we're very excited for that. I do want to switch gears just a little bit and spend the next 5 or 10 minutes talking about some very important items as it pertains to the upcoming hackathon. I do want to provide some inputs, so stick around. Uh, the first one, I do want to thank our hackathon partners. PayPal is our platinum partner. It's going to be at their event, at their office location where the physical part of the hackathon is happening. And we have our technology partner Freshworks, who just provided the updates. We have a cloud partner in AWS. What you get to, as you participate in this hackathon, you will get a whole lot of goodies from AWS and their capabilities. So, if you haven't yet registered, anyone on the call, please do register. And we have an API partner in Algorithmia. They are a marketplace for providing algorithms. If you haven't checked them out, we do have a discount code down below on this page as well. Do use it, and you'll get a whole lot of goodies from them. Credits in terms of using their APIs for your apps. I don't want to go back to summarize the themes that we've talked about as we talk about some of the customer problems that we are trying to solve. So I have 5 broad buckets here. Do familiarize yourselves with these and see where your solution today fits in. So it's really important to try and have a connect of what you're building with one of these problem statements. And the few that are sort of very close to me, I'll call out, on e-commerce, order management, as well as marketing are critical. There are certain solutions available in hyperlocal. So anything, I think the world is becoming smaller as it gets global. So hyperlocal delivery, anything that you can help customers do better locally would be great. For all of our professional services customers, as we talked about, productivity is key. So that's a big theme for us in making that device be more productive and how you can use it. So anything that can drive scheduling, appointments, document management, visitor management, loyalty program management, right, are all operational activities that you can perform on the device. I think that can help you help our customers be more productive. So we're looking forward to innovations in that front. We do have an open innovation theme as well. So this is capabilities that you see that could be a direct fit for a small and medium business. Please do submit your ideas and your hacks within that theme. And of course, we have our core capability around shipping. We like to think of shipping as you have a box, you need to send it out to your customers, but what are activities that you need to do before and after? So the pre and post workflows for shipping, be it address management, tracking, insurance, or recommendations that you can provide on how you can be smart about shipping are all things that fit into this theme. And then we have the big one, which is the international presence. So we are a global company. We have customers across the world. So ability for being able to ship internationally is key, and that's one of the themes that you see reflected here on the international front. With that, I get to the most important details of of the day, which is timelines. So do note our hackathon is both physical and virtual. So for those of you who are available in the Bay Area, you can come to our physical event, which is in San Francisco. It's at the PayPal headquarters, their office in San Jose. It starts at 9 a.m. On June 23rd, the Saturday, and goes on till end of day 24th. So the full weekend. So we look forward to hosting you, any of you who are available to join us in that physical event. We do have this hackathon also running as a virtual hackathon in parallel, so you can join from wherever you are in the world. And we have Slack channels that we'll just talk about, as well as other forms of engagement to keep you connected through that 48-hour journey. Going back to timelines, the two that are critical, we do have an idea submission phase, that runs 3 days from now as the deadline. So for those of you who've registered and not yet submitted your idea, please do it. Please also encourage your friends to register, form teams with you, and really start attacking these problems. But do submit your ideas as soon as possible. The idea submission is fairly straightforward. You choose a problem statement that interests you and provide the outline of the solution. You should be including some information on how you intend to solve it. So from a technology stack point of view, or what's the core innovation that you want to drive around it. And then we have the physical hackathon, of course. Both the physical and virtual hackathon on 23rd and 24th, where you would be using those 48 hours to really submit your prototypes, the proof of concepts for the solutions that you are providing. And we have plenty of prizes, as you see down below. I won't go through all of them here, but think of this as an amazing opportunity to really show your capabilities, yours and your teams, and win some big prizes. So the prizes themselves are very appealing, but this also is a journey to take your capabilities you build to real customers, and will also help you in that process of monetizing your solutions. I do want to spend just one more minute. I think we're at the end of our session. Before I jump into Q&A, I do want to mention this. There is a Slack channel. If you aren't on it yet, please do join in. It's SMB Hackathon 2018. Is the Slack channel that you want to look for. It's already very active. We've had a ton of back and forth with developers on what APIs to use. We have our tech help as well as product help teams on it that can help you answer any types of questions you have. If you want to use email, developer@pitneybowes.com, just drop a note and we'll be able to help you with any questions you have. I don't want to go back to the questions. We have some very interesting ones on the GoToWebinar panel. So I'll read a few of those. But if you have more questions, just go to the question section and start to ask your questions. All right. So the first question, this is from Nikhil Talwar, is do we have to use all of the APIs that you're showcasing from Pitney Bowes or any other partners? Yeah, we prefer if you use all of our APIs, but that's definitely not a restriction. You are free to use APIs that you see fit for your solution. And what we're really looking forward to is the overall solution that you will provide for our SMB customers through this hackathon. So think through, as I said, your ideas, formulate them, and then send us to them before the end of the week. The next question I have here is from Dimitri, whose question is: do you position your tablet offer to compete on the point of sale landscape? It's a very interesting point as you think of devices being multi-purpose. We've definitely explored our CSD connected sending device to be used in multiple different scenarios. Point of sale one is very exciting, especially as we talk about our SMB customers also being retailers. Today, we do not have any point of sale apps on that device. So I think of that as an opportunity for all of you to think of what that experience can be for a sending device, which a specialized label printer, to be used for point of sale. So I think it's a great idea, and hope I see some solutions around it. The next question is also from Dimitri. The part of the question was, do you provide your own tablets to customers? Our hackathon registration page should capture some of this information on the specifications of the tablet, the Android specifications, and the hardware limitations on what you're building for. But we do, yes, provide our own tablets to customers. These are specialized Android enterprise tablets that are today running Android 6.0 and 7.0 operating systems. Again, Dimitri, there was another question on access to hardware during the on-site hackathon, and absolutely, we'll have a few tablets for you to be able to test your app, in the physical hackathon at the PayPal headquarters on 23rd, if you so wish to. I see a ton of questions coming in, so anyone else in the team who's read through the questions, can jump in. The next one is from Lisa, whose question is: can you explain open innovation theme? So the open innovation theme for us is slightly broad, bucket, if you may, of ideas that we don't yet have customers tell us what their problems are, but there's a definite solution that focuses on small and medium businesses and help them be more productive, help them save time or money. So yeah, some interesting examples there I can think of. So the first one is, I think the question Dimitri asked fits in very well here. It's a specialized sending device. We haven't yet thought of it being a point of sale solution. So a solution that enables this device to also be a POS solution would fit very well into the open innovation or innovation theme. Another could be enabling uh, a capability that allows you to print on this device remotely. So it's a technology capability that's using core Android capabilities and pushing the boundaries on what it can or what the device can do today. But it doesn't fit in with the rest of the themes on sort of doing shipping better or productivity better. So that would be an open innovation theme. I hope I was able to answer that. The next question is from Cable, and the question is, can we work on the hackathon alone? So this goes back to today. If you haven't yet, and again, a call out for everyone, please do sign up to the hackathon. You can participate individually as well as a team. So Cable, I wish you luck in registering and putting together an awesome app for us to evaluate. The next question is from Marianne on where can we get developer credits for the Pitney Bowes and Freshworks API products. The Slack channel would be your best bet, but if you have already registered, we will ensure that we send out all of the details over email in the next 48 hours. But again, if you want to get your hands on them right away, do go hop on to the Slack channel. And again, I'll list this here as the SMB Hackathon 2018 channel that you can go to, and you can request for those from an early access point of view, and we should be able to provide those. The next question I have here is from Clinton Fernandez, and the question is, can it be, from a solution point of view, should it be a single app, or can there be multiple apps integrating into one system? I do think it can be either. So think of the app as a functionality. If you have multiple functionalities that do integrate with each other in forming a cohesive story, feel free to bring that to the table. Again, I request everyone to put in their ideas before the 15th of June, so that we can start helping you also formulate better on how to bring it to life, on our Android platform and device. The next question is a continuation of the previous one. So should it be a full concept, or should it be developed? So the expectation given the hackathon, this is for everyone and all of the apps, is the bare minimum you should be presenting at the end of the hackathon is a proof of concept of your idea. It should be able to take from the functionality and the use case for a specific problem that you're solving. We will help you incubate it, all the way through to production if you're picked as a winner. So concept, towards proof of concept is what we're looking for during this hackathon timeline. All right, we have a few more questions. I think we're going towards the end of them. Dimitri again has a question on PayPal headquarters is in San Jose, not in San Francisco. I do want to clarify that. Thanks for the call out, Dimitri. It is absolutely their office, the headquarters where the event is happening is in San Jose. For all of our registrants who've registered from California or even the US, we can make sure we clarify and send an email out. I'll take that as an action, so that there's absolute clarity in where they should be coming for the event in person. Thanks for the shout out there. I have a couple more questions come in. That's great. The first one here is, I think we've answered that. So Nikhil has a question on a specific set of APIs that might need OTP for verification on international numbers. Nikhil, we can definitely help you solve for that. Hop on over to the Slack channel. We've had this scenario before play out for a developer building a solution remotely, and we've been able to handhold in ensuring that the solution can be utilized in the US, in a prototype format. So we can help handhold. We can have one of our tech partners work with you to make sure we solve it. The third question from Nikhil again was essentially around the idea of fitting into two different categories, one around SMB and another e-commerce. You can absolutely take part in both if there is a solution that overlaps between two themes and solves for both. I think that's a great way to solve multiple problems in one. So I look forward to that solution. Again, the short answer there is yes, you can submit the same idea across multiple themes. Perfect. Okay, so we have another question, a logistics one from Zahidul Islam. How is the developer to present their hacks or project when they're present, if they're present in person or remotely? I live in the Bay Area. Do I need to be present? What are the benefits to be present? That's a great question. So for all the developers, who are available in person, we have, the location, of course, does help for you to interact more closely with us. It gives an opportunity to sort of clarify any questions if you have. We do have we're hosting, this hackathon as a party, if you may. So if you are available locally, please do hop on over. I think it's going to be an exciting event for you to be able to meet other developers, interact closely with us. And your sort of first part of the question on how do we present these hacks? The hacks essentially, or the projects essentially, go into HackerEarth, the platform that you're registering on, as a submission, post which we will go through a multiple criteria-based evaluation, and we have some very interesting public figures as judges that are being selected at this point. So again, I don't want to jump the gun, but we do want to be able to do a thorough, proper evaluation before we get down to how these are presented externally as they get picked for winners. So Zahidul, I look forward to seeing you in the event. We will. I think it's going to be an experience to remember. We have a few more coming in, and again, that's great. So Dimitri question, Dimitri Maslov asking if there are multiple ideas submission that's allowed, and absolutely. And the best ideas win, not the best team. In that you could have the same developer across different teams, or individually, or in a team, or all individually submit one or more apps, and they'll all be eligible for all of the prizes. So if you do have multiple ideas that you think fit the curve, and you would be able to use the 48 hours to build the prototypes for them and submit to us, we look forward to that very much. The question from the next question is from Job, and the question is, I know the IBM Cloud offers the Pitney Bowes APIs. Can we use the IBM Cloud in our solution? The answer to that is yes, absolutely. Again, any APIs that you find, any capabilities that you want to use from existing resources, ones that you're comfortable with, that you've worked with before, please feel free to bring them to the table. We do want to promote and showcase some of our existing APIs that might help you sort of bring solutions closer to the use cases as far as possible, but there is no restriction on you using any of the APIs that are available, even if they're private, really. as long as you're willing to pay for them and you think they fit the bill for the solution you're building. So IBM Cloud, they're a great partner of ours, and we do have all of our APIs hosted there. And Job, you're more than welcome to use them from there. All right. We have this is the last two questions, and I think we're just about on time. So I'll take these quickly. Can someone from Africa have a chance to use this opportunity? As a question from Francis. Francis, you're absolutely welcome. For all of you who've joined in on this call, we'll make sure we also send out the registration link for the hackathon if you haven't yet had a chance to, so that you can register and participate remotely. The last question is from Marianne on, will there be any transportation to San Jose be covered to selected teams in the US? I don't have an answer for that right off the bat, but Marianne, we'll get back to you and to all of the participants in the Bay Area if, as we do the updating, on the logistics closer to the event, on if transportation is a possibility. So I'll take that more as a request, saying, hey, if it's possible, San Francisco to San Jose to the PayPal office, if there's a way we can provide transportation that might help for more teams to participate, and we'll get back to you. You've been a great audience. Thanks everyone for all the questions and really making it interactive. Big thanks and a shout out to the Freshdesk team for participating. Please do go check out their APIs. And the last thing I want to mention is please go register, submit your idea, and I look forward to seeing all of your ideas take shape, on the hackathon dates next week. All the very best.
Thanks, everyone.